Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you around the farm, doing a little bit of a tour and show you what it's like. Starting here we've got the lane, which is the main entrance to the farm. Then when you enter you've got a sort of stony bit where we just park stuff during the winter or any other bits and pieces we want to put there. And then we head into this first shed. This is the first shed that we're in now. This shed was an extension onto the old one, which stopped like halfway down. So in this new bit we have, at the front here, we've got a straw pen in the winter for cows that have sore feet or are injured. And then the whole way along we also have a feeding alley where the cows can come up and feed and eat silage during the winter. And then behind that we also have some cubicles, and then further up there is also where all of our cubicles are. This shed also has a bit of storage room on the left hand side, so we store bits of machinery in here during the winter and just anything really we can fit. Very handy to have this wee bit because it keeps it dry and nice and safe over the winter. But yeah, let's head on up. I'm now on the old bit, if you can just see the old timber and the old metal steel. So where I'm standing now is where the shed used to finish, with that pole to that hole behind us, or steel beam. And that's where the old shed was, but since we wanted to convert this and make it a bit bigger, we added a bit more onto it. But yeah, this is the same up here. It's got room on the left hand side to store stuff, and we've also got the feeding passage on the right hand side, sorry, for the cows to feed. And on the floor here, you might have seen this in videos, so this bit is for cows to feed on, and this is like your plate you eat your food. So this is nice and soft for the cows' tongues to eat the food, because for example, when the concrete starts to go old like this, it gets very rough and it's sore in their tongue. So that's exactly why we put that in. And it's also very handy and easy to brush the old silage up. This is where all of our cubicles are. So we've got all of them in there, and then we've also got a few in there, and altogether there's 120, and that's enough for all of our dairy cattle. I'm currently in this shed, and this is the shed where all of our cubicles are. So we've got 120 cubicles, including those ones down there, and that's where all of the cows would sleep during the winter. So that's pretty much just their bed. So we've got enough for every one of them to sleep at the same time. Obviously they don't all do that because some of them are feeding. But yeah, that's plenty for us. We've got one row at the front with the feeding passage, and then we've got the double, and then we've got another double over there. If I turn around, this is the shed that I'm in now. This one. And this is where all of our cows calve in the winter. Our cows all calve in just over a month, so we need loads of pens for them to bed on or to calve on. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the top one if it's not being used for sick cows. So this is where they all calve. So they'll go into the individual pens, and then they'll calve in that, and then once they've finished calving they'll stay in with the calf for about a day, and then they'll go back into the cubicles. this is just enough at the minute because we are calving about 100 cows in the space of just over a month, which is very hectic. But we are thinking of putting some more calving pens somewhere else. So yeah, that might be in the future sometime. Every 2 pens has their own water drinker. So there's one there, one there, one there. And then if we look straight down, we have our little Lily Discovery robot, which scrapes the slats. So it scrapes those ones, these ones behind me, and then also the far ones over there. There. If I continue on through, we are just walking through the slatted bit now, where there's an underground tank which will carry the slurry into our main tank in there, and then we can lift it and take it out to the field. But I'm just in front of probably the most important thing on the farm, which obviously is the parlor. So this parlor is a 12-a-side swing over by Fullwood. It was put in over 10 years. It's been very, very good parlor for us. This is the parlor where you would have seen this is the iconic video probably where you would have seen the cow fall in. Beside the parlor we have a place where we can just store cows while we're waiting for the AI man to come, or if we need to bring them out of the parlor to get, if we've recognised they've got like something wrong with their foot or something, we can bring them in here, wait until milking's over, and then go and check them at the end in the crush, which is on that wall, which I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, there's also, if you can see up there, 2 gates at the top, these 2, and that's easy access to the calving pens in there. In here is the side passage I was talking about, and I was standing up there. And then we've got on the other side of the wall, we've got the parlour, which I just showed you. And then if we go across the parlour to the other side of this wall, we have got our crush. So we've got our crush at the end there, and we've got another one at the bottom. And then beside here we have just an area where the cows walk down from milking parlour. So they'll come out these gates, come down this black track, then obviously this gate will be open, they'll walk down here and then down into the yard where they eat. When we come through the parlour, we'll go through this door which accesses the dairy. So in here we've got our washing up setup with our chemicals and stuff to wash everything down. We've got our 2 water tanks, and then we've got storage here to store the rolls, the iodine, the gloves, all that sort of stuff for milking. And then if we carry on down, we've got these special things, these white things, but I'm going to do a video on that separately, so you have to wait until that comes out. And here we've also got when the cows are going to calve, and as you can see, if I open this up, they're all very close this year. That's pretty much the majority of the cows gonna calve in October, and then we've got some in November and a very few in December. When you come out of the dairy, you are here. So this is where we ended up. We pretty much started over there, we've done a big circle round, and now we ended up coming out of this shed here. So that's pretty much all of our dairy and cubicle area, and now I'm going to show you where they eat. I nearly forgot to mention one of the most important things. The tank where the milk is stored, so this keeps the milk nice and cool while the lorry comes to collect it. So that is just beside the dairy, and then the milking parlour is behind those 2. We have the crush and then milking parlor, and up here we have the cubicles, and I just showed you those all. And then we've just walked down that bit of concrete beside the milking parlor. And then now we're in the main feeding area. So we've got one passage here, another one over there, and we also have one over here. The cows are out at the minute, they're not feeding, but this is where they would go in the winter to get their breakfast, tea and lunch. No, wrong order. Breakfast, lunch and dinner every day. So yeah, it's a pretty big area. We've got 2 water troughs at the end. We've also got another crush where we would vaccinate in large amounts, so the heifers, the cows, if we're doing TB and all that sort of stuff, TB testing obviously. Then we also have our fantastic brush at the end, which the cows love to scratch on. So if you're not familiar with this building, this is not a brand new building, but it's a building, and underneath is pretty much a brand new slurry pit. So we put this in nearly 2 years ago, I think, or a year and a half, and this is where we store all of our slurry. So nearly all of our slurry is stored underneath these slats in this building. So from this edge right along there to that concrete wall, that is where all of our, or nearly all of our slurry is stored. We are in this shed, and behind us is just another little feeding area for the cows in the winter. But when we cross the other side of the wall, we have got a big straw pen is usually in here. So I'll put a picture in now of what it usually looks like, but currently we've just parked stuff. So along here we have our feeding passage, and we have on the other side from this wall to the end we have straw where the calves can lie on. This area in here is for the dry cows for about a month and a half, and then the rest of the year it is for calves that are growing up. Next we can go out this door from the big slatted shed and the yard that we've just been in, and we can see the pits. So before we enter those, we have our muck heap, and where our 135 stays all the time. That's in there, and then we also have more storage space on the left with stones on the ground, and we can store all sorts of stuff there. Obviously these gates are up at the minute for the cows to go out into the field, so they're not making a mess of everything around here. And then we end up in this building, and this building is our heifer house. So we have got 18 heifer cubicles on each side, and then we have lockers which you can lock their heads in like this. It pulls across and it'll lock it, and then that's pretty much where the heifers go. If we continue through this building here, which is the heifer house, we also have 2 water troughs at the end here and the locking system I talked about. And then we end up out of the other side of the heifer house, and we have done a big circle again. So we went in there, and that was the milking parlour. Then you go along that in where the crush is, and then that's in there is the big straw pen, and there is the muck heap. Once you come out of the heifer house, we've got this biggest area where we can just have room to turn vehicles and put stuff against this wall. But most importantly is the silage clamp goes here. In about a month we will be putting whole crop in here, and then also third cut silage in here as well. So at the minute we've just got loads of stuff parked up against the wall, and a few logs and stuff over there. But in a couple of months this will be all covered over with sheets, a black sheet, and it'll look like a pit. We'll get to that building there in a minute. I'm just going to show you around where the silage clamps are and where all the food for the cows is stored in the winter. So we've done another loop. We went in that building there and came out the other side. This is just an area where we park stuff in the winter, but on the other side we have our clamps. So this is our first cut clamp, second cut clamp, and then we've also got another clamp over there that'll be going, silage will be going in a few weeks. But yeah, that's where all the silage and food for the cows is stored during the winter. This is the back of the shed where the cows would feed. So the cows feed in that shed there, and then you've got access to fields there and another field there. We've also got our big round slurry store, and that stores slurry during the winter or nearly all year round, and that stores slurry, and we can pump slurry from this tank in here through that little blue pipe under the ground to that blue pipe that goes up the wall and then shoots out the top. So yeah, it's a very handy system that works really well for us. As we are walking away from the pit, we have this big shed in here. And this is a fairly new build. It was built about 5 years ago, I think. And in here we store loads and loads of machinery during the summer. There's a few birds in here. So we've got our mowers here. We've got 7718, which is covering for the Massey at $64.99 at the minute. We've got our big wagon which collects our grass, slurry tanker, and then the straw bedder in the back there. But this shed is not designed for holding machinery. It is designed for the little calves. So this is what the shed would look like in the winter. So pretty much this shed wouldn't be packed full of definitely not shiny, machinery, metal. It'd be packed full of little creatures mooing, wanting to get milk. But yeah, so we would have little individual pens for about 4 meters there on either side. Then at the top there you would have older calves, and then on the other side you would also have even older calves. And then once they're old enough, they'll go up into the big straw pen which I just showed you. Here we have our washing up system and where we fill the milk. In the corner here we have our straw bales, and that's where they all stay during the winter. So we've got usually about 60 to 80 there, because where that buck rake is, that's where the gate goes to stop the calves from going anywhere else. So we can put straw bales pretty much all over there. Sometimes we do put grain in here, but this year we won't, so you have to wait until summer to see possibly a new build. Never know where the grain's gonna stay. So yeah, next shed. When you come out of the calf shed, you are in the yard again. You've got your silage bits over there and then your yard bit here. On your left you have your area to access the back lane. The back lane where all of our fields are. And in this shed here we have tyres stored in the top bit, and we also have logs and wood stored in the bottom bit here. This bit here is where we store our grain. We also have our diesel tank. We usually store our grain in here or our fertilizer, but at the minute, next year it'll probably just be fertilizer because we will be making room for our grain. Oh, I shouldn't have told you that, but the grain probably won't be in here anymore, it might be somewhere else. In there, in the other bit of the shed, it's just rubbish really, and there's nothing in there. There's a few old metal junk in there, but in these here as well, there isn't a lot of use for them at the minute. We once had in both sides we had calves in here once, but since they are designed for horses and we don't have any, there's not really a lot of use in them because we can't fit any machinery in there. But one day we would love to do something with it, and it's to knock pretty much all of them down and just build a big open front shed. That would be the dream, but I'm not sure if that'll happen. And in here we have, oh yeah, last time you saw this bit, it was probably an absolute junk heap, but there will be a midday or midweek video on Wednesday, so wait to see that. A bit unusual, but and in this shed we just store random stuff, whatever we can fit in, to be honest. We have got a few water tanks at the top, old equipment which we never really use, cement mixer, sometimes use it, and then our flat trailer. Yeah, we sometimes use it to take machinery to get fixed and stuff, but other than that, that is that shed done. Coming out of that shed, we have pretty much entered the yard again. We have got shed in here which holds wood, anything that we can fit in the back pretty much, and then our wagon stays in here during the winter. On the other side, I said this is where horses used to be. On the other side there is places for a horse to stay, but there's nothing really in them at the minute because we don't have any horses. But yeah, we've entered the yard again, and in this shed here we have our workshop. So this in here is our workshop. It is an absolute tip at the minute. It is probably one of the messiest workshops you will ever see. We would absolutely love to tidy this. It does really need a clean. We may do something with it this summer. We're not sure, but yeah, it is a bit of a mess. Obviously we have our workbench over here. We have clamps, tools, loads of old batteries, all that sort of stuff in here. Just loads of junk that needs to be thrown out. But yeah, that's pretty much that shed. Not much to say in there. Just behind the parlor, just in front of the parlor and beside the dairy, we've got our two bins. So this is the bins that store the cake for the cows, the nice stuff that they all love. So in bin 4 we currently have the calf meal, and then in bin 1 and 2 we have the stuff for the food for the cows that they get given when they're getting milk. But yeah, that's pretty much the farm. As I said, these buildings here, this one and then the one behind it, don't have a lot of use. We have our burner in the bottom one which heats the house, but apart from that, those don't really have a lot of use. All I'm saying. thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you did enjoy seeing what the farm is, what it's like, having a bit of a tour around, and understanding it a bit more. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.